Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 16, Accession. So this is actually the halfway point through the series. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. We have just as many episodes ahead as we do behind, and that means I cruise through like 4.5 seasons in a month, so that's pretty awesome. I kind of feel bad for you guys if you guys hate these, but I mean, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying these. I think it's funny, while I was doing the original series videos, you guys kept being like, oh, when are you going to do the Next Generation? When I'm done. And then I went to the Next Generation. When are you guys going to be doing Deep Space Nine? And now I keep getting bombarded with messages about Voyager. So who knows? I'm really interested to see when I get to Voyager if people start getting excited to see me do Enterprise or not. Because it seems like not a lot of people talk about it. Anyways, for this episode, I kind of like this episode. It was really interesting. I liked the subplot a little bit more than the main plot, but I could see why it was the lower one. So the subplot is all about Keiko comes home, and it's kind of a funny scene in the beginning where you see O'Brien and Bashir, and they're like, we have to clean your apartment because it's a mess. And so they're going through, and it's a really cute scene. And then when Keiko finally returns, and she's been gone for like a year at this point on Bajor, Molly just blurts out the news like, Mommy has a little brother inside of her. And so now O'Brien has to deal with the fact that like he's about to have a second child now. And it's kind of funny, like at one point O'Brien, Bashir, and Worf are at Quark's, and Bashir's like, hey, Keiko's about to have a baby. And Worf's like, right now? And they kind of talk about how in the episode Disaster from The Next Generation, Worf ended up having to deliver Molly. And O'Brien's like, no, she's going to give birth in like 7 months. And Worf's like, oh, 7 months. Well, I won't be here. I'll be on Earth. And just to like, nope, I'm not doing that again. And he's running away from it. It was a really cute episode, or a little cute moment. I really liked that. That was great. So the main focus of this episode, though, is sailboat, one of the ones that we saw, similar to the ones that we saw Sisko make, ends up coming out of the wormhole, and it's like 200 years old, and it ends up being this guy who's a very well-known poet that just kind of disappeared, and he claims that he is the emissary, and that he's been with the prophets for the last 200 years, which he didn't even know it was that long, and that he is now sent back to basically restore Bajor to the way it was. Now, some of the things that entails is to bring back the Dagaras, as I think what he called. So basically, a long time ago on the planet Bajor, like there were social classes, and it kind of went by your last name. So if you had this name, you were an artist. If you had this name, you were a political leader. And if you were this name, you were like a farmer. And Kira says that especially after the occupation, the Dagars went away and everybody became warriors. And now this guy wants to basically bring them back. And it starts bringing in all sorts of like conflict and strife. Like Kira, I think, is supposed to be a sculptor, and a lot of the one of the political figures is actually a farmer, so he's going to have to step down. And you slowly start to watch things change. Like Kira walks into a bar, and somebody's like, "Oh no, you're a higher class than I am," and leaves. And Sisko's like, if you bring back this caste system, you can't join the Federation. And he's like, yeah, Kai Wynn told me that, and she thinks it'll be okay. And Sisko's like, of course Kai Wynn said that. And then even at one point, somebody asks a lower Bajoran to do something, and he refuses, so the minister pushes him off the balcony and kills him. And then at this point, Sisko's like, no, we got to put a stop to this. So the two of them go back into the wormhole and talk to the prophets, and the prophets are like, they basically are like, because they don't understand the way time works, because they're non-corporeal, non-linear, and they're like, we sent you back to be with the Sisko. And Sisko's like, can we just send him back home? And they're like, okay. And he goes back home to his own timeline, not remembering any of this. And to me, I hated that whole aspect. I thought it was just kind of a cop-out. And then, like I said, he was a poet, and Kira like loved one of his last poems, but he never got to finish it. And she knows that, but now when she pulls up that poem, it does have an ending. And so it kind of changed the timeline, but she still has memories of both. But yeah, overall, I was just like, I didn't get it. Like, I understand they probably sent him there to kind of teach Sisko a lesson or help Sisko come to terms with him being the emissary, because he doesn't want to be the emissary. But overall, I didn't feel it that great. I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. So for those who have seen this one, did you love it? Did you think it was great to see basically the prophets challenging Sisko? What did you think about Keiko being pregnant? And what do you guys think about being halfway through the series? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Rules of Engagement.